What's up, dudes? Welcome back to another episode of Rhomas Men's Team. Pretty simple. We are a group of guys helping each other make progress towards each other's goals. If you're new to the channel, awesome and welcome. If you want to help support the channel and join our pro team, head over to rhomasteam.com/pro, where you can contribute to us on a donation basis. We also give you access to exclusive content, mastermind groups, etc., etc. So anyway, hope you enjoy this episode, and we'll see you on the team.
What's up? What's up, everybody? How we doing? What's going on? What's up, dude? Motherfucking Gibbons in the house.
Let's go.
Let's fucking go, dude.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Dude, so, yeah, man, I'm going to just kind of keep it strict to the fundamentals. I'm going to start off this week. My attention's pretty singular this week, which is rare. Usually I'm kind of juggling a couple things, but I have I have to do that stand-up show on Wednesday, so I am going to tighten a couple things up here and there, but the bulk of my time will be just making sure I know all my material. That's my singular mission towards Wednesday, and after Wednesday, after that's all done, I'll finish the second meditation video. Those are my shots, and that's exactly what's going to get done. So, MFG, what do you got, brother?
I got kind of an interesting week. Just finishing up on the garage project I have going on. I've got I'm starting a podcast with another artist.
Nice, dude.
So we've been working on that a little bit, hopefully dropping, at least doing the first recording this week over Zoom.
Hell yeah.
And actually ran into a guy the other day that I used to do some work for. So I've got like $20 an hour cash doing some basic landscaping for about 20 hours this week. So
Nice.
Kind of lining those things up and still kind of moving along slowly. I've got a lot of things going right now and just trying to collate everything into a plan. You know, so kind of a little scatterbrained.
No, I hear you. So what would be the, at the end of Friday, what is like the specific things you're trying to get done? You said record that episode and do some of that work? Yeah,
so I make a list every week as far as what I got to punch out. So this week I want to get the rest of the materials that I need for the shop. Just get the lumber in there, get all the stuff I need for the floors. Also, actually get that first episode just done and recorded, because we've kind of been kicking around with it back and forth, and I've reached the conclusion that we can talk about it forever, but getting that down, that's going to be the win for the week.
Hell yeah.
Is actually having that done, and you know what, fuck it, I'm going to say it now, I'm going to post it on Instagram by the end of the week.
Nice, man. There you go. Oh yeah. Yeah, that is one of those things, man. I think everyone struggles with that, including myself. It's like, you have an idea, it's like, you either do it or you don't do it. So yeah, it's like, just do it, and see, you can always assess from there. But when you're assessing without a thing being done, the assessment goes on forever.
There's a quote you said last week, and I forget, it was either you or Wes, but it was about essentially, until you actually take action, you're living within your own mind. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, and that's a trap that I can easily fall into, like the analysis, paralysis by analysis, just thinking about all the things that could go wrong, and then I don't do anything. And then I'm upset I didn't do anything,
Yeah, man. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, and I'm spitballing here, obviously, so take this with a grain of salt, but it's like, the seeming enormity of doing something like, of putting yourself out there, whether it be a podcast, opening a business, blah, blah, blah. I wonder how attractive those things still are when we just let go of the seeming enormity of it and go, I'm just going to put this thing out there. Who gives a fuck? It's almost like this perverse pleasure we get being like, this is the fucking moment. It's like, it doesn't fucking matter.
Well, it is kind of narcissistic by nature, isn't it? A bit self-aggrandizing. Like, anybody gives a fuck about what I put out there. Like as if everyone is going to stop and be like, look at this fucking idiot. Oh my God. Nobody's going to even pay attention to what I do in the scheme of things. And thank God for that,
Possibly and possibly not. But it's like, yeah, I mean, the thing, this is what I really like, the thing Wes said last week. It's like, dude, do 100 of something before you even judge what's going on. It's like, do 100, and from there, you can genuinely assess, like, am I getting anything out of this? Is this valuable for myself or other people? And that's kind of just the metric, It's like, we're just fucking damned with this idea of, like, if a million people aren't listening to this and, fucking commenting on it and blah blah blah, and I'm not getting $1 million and buying islands, I'm inherently a failure. And it's like, what? Like, what? That's the bar? So yeah, man, it's easy to get sucked into that, but it's like, Yeah, man, it's like that seems to be the metric. Does this thing provide value? Is it good? You know, and you do 100 of them or so, and you say, yeah, people actually enjoy this. I enjoy doing it, so I'm gonna keep on. And if you go, that was cool, but I'm gonna try this, or maybe that opens up different doors that would have been open anyway. But it's like, yeah, man, I always tell myself and other people especially, it's like, don't be glamorized by the enormity or the fantasy of the thing. It's like, just do it, have fun, and then let it be what it is.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, that's pumping me up though, man. I will say too, it's just good to have creative outlets, and that's like, it seems 100%. Like what you're doing. It's good to do that. It's good to, yeah, and just try as hard as you can to keep it out of that, the kind of thing of like, this needs to be that or this, and if this isn't that thing, then it's just, dude, it's a never ending game you can play with yourself. Like, oh well, if it was, if it's number 500 on iTunes, if it was number 120, I'd feel much better. No, you won't. You'll feel exactly the same. I'm telling you, will just absolutely not affect anything. You'll look at it and go, oh, cool. And then you'll go right back to your life and be like, okay, what was I doing? What was I doing? So yeah, well, man.
It's funny even hearing, sometimes when you're talking about stuff and you've got a certain presence, you and Shane, with the podcast and everything. But then when you'll say like, and I'm just kind of sitting alone in my basement all day writing stuff down. You know what I mean? It's just because there is no glamour to anything. We're all just, or everybody, no matter how cool they look anywhere, we're all just doing the same shit every day. You know what I mean? Just clicking right along.
It's true, man. I mean, dude, I'm not saying like Donald Trump's everyone's idol, but that was like a larger than life personality. And I'm sure there were times he was like, getting hammered by the press, about to do this or that. And he's just in a mirror looking at himself. And he's like, does my tie look stupid? Same thing. It's like, I think I look dumb with this tie. So it's like, yeah, man. Dude, the idea of glamour in and of itself, I forget what book I was reading, but they talked specifically about de-glamorizing things and how we do put this extra kind of radiance upon things, good and bad. In reality, it's like, yeah, things just are there. It's not even a bad thing. It's like, I'm just a dude sitting in my basement. I record content and I put it out and people are like, hey, I love it. And I'm like, thanks, that's good. And some people are like, hey, this sucks, this is gay. And I'm like, okay, it's gay too, thank you. So yeah, man, it's really more about just kind of just, providing, that's for me, I should say. That providing value question is infinitely easier to assess and answer than like, is this my ticket out of myself as I experience myself? And the answer is no. Like, no.
Right, because that's an interesting comparison, because I spent a lot of my life just looking for that fucking exit, you know what I mean? And whether that came from success and money or things or external validation or, because you're always, like you said, looking to escape from yourself as opposed to just getting comfortable within and then creating value from there.
Exactly.
It sounds so simple, but it's something I intellectualized for a long time and was never able to integrate into my existence, It's hard,
dude. It's hard. It's one of those things you integrate, and it's like, it just, you get sucked back up into all the other stuff, and then eventually you get frustrated. I do it to myself like on a monthly basis. I get sucked into this fantasy of, I don't even know what it is anymore. I don't know what I want. It's just like it's sucked in this wild fantasy, and I get spit back out of just like, all right, what do we have going on here? Same thing. It's like you eventually do. And it's not to be confused with like fatalism. That's like the thing I always saw. It's like, dude, it's not like a fatalistic thing. You're accepting what is, and then you can kind of move from there. It's like it's a way more solid foundation than kind of like being like, and then I'll do this, and then I'll be better, and one day everything will be good. It's like, maybe it never will be. Yeah, hey, I'll show you.
Well, it's maybe funny because it really that really plays into the true definition of Stoicism as it was, by the ancients. Because I think that term has kind of got co-opted lately. It has got this shine to it where people think, oh, Stoicism, it's like the new cool thing, or I'm so, it's just actually much more in line with just accepting what is, changing what you can change, and it kind of just gives you that baseline, and it's interesting to,
yeah, I think that
it's funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious, and the one message from Stoicism I always like is, I forget which one of the guys, like the Stoics specifically said it, but they talk about just not being defined by the externals, and how it's just like, there was that one guy, it was the one Academy of Ideas video I watched, and it shows like he would just like live in a trash. He like just lived outside on like next to like a trash can.
Yeah, I think that's
what's the guy's name? You remember?
Seneca.
I think so. Yeah,
I think it was like one week of the month he would just exist on the scantest affair.
No, so there was
the worst clothes.
Yeah, so that was Seneca was the guy who did that. There was another guy who came before him. I forget the guy's name, and he genuinely like lost all the shit, and he was just like he would just like go to emperor, like hang with the emperor and be like, dude, I am the fucking man. The emperor would be like, how do you do that? And he'd be like, I don't know, dude, I just don't give a fuck. And they're like, damn, that rules. Yeah, every now and then, emperors would get bored, and they would like find dudes like that and be like, come talk to me, dude. How are you fucking like out here talking shit? It's like, Diogenes. Yes, Ryan A. You were absolutely right. It's Diogenes. Nice, dude. Yes, it's absolutely Diogenes. He was like, he lived like outside, and like he still, that was the guy who he had a slave somehow still, and then his slave ran away.
He's just that
like,
cool, man.
Good. Yeah, he was just like, good. Fuck him. I don't even want that slave. It's like, what? So yeah, man, it's like, you know, how can you just tap into like 10% of that, of just kind of being unmoved by, and I'll say this, to be honest, dude, it's like I have to do this stand-up show. I'm like, oh, it's going to suck. My whole family's coming. If this goes bad, all the things, oh, man, I just go fucking fall on my face in front of my whole fucking family and all this blah, 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 blah. And it's like, at the end of the day, I can approach it like that if I want to. And, you know, if I want to torture myself and act like again, like this is the pivotal blah, blah, blah. Or it's like, I'm just going to prepare, make sure I know my material. And it's going to come out however it comes out, but I know I'm going to do my best. And that's literally, as soon as, when I do that, it just deadens all of that anxiety for like 10 minutes, and it comes back up. But it's
right.
Yeah, it comes back up.
It'll sneak back up in on you.
But I'll say, dude, in between the whole, you know, kicking up the dust of all the glamorization and all of the stuff our minds produce, there is something to be said for that just daily, weekly, whatever it is, consistent effort. Because in the meantime, you know, we're spinning ourselves out, but like, again, tying yourself to like, what are you trying to do this week? Actually getting it done. That's like us, like, you know, like moving that rock a little bit forward with our nose, just like, all right, you know, we're having all our fantasies, all of our stuff, all of our this, and then it's like at the end of the week, what did we actually do? Well, you know, it's like, hey, I launched my first podcast, I did something, I did this, blah, blah, blah. It's not like a cure-all, but it just kind of moves you more towards what, like we were saying last week, it just moves you further out of the whole kind of thing you can sink into of just comparing yourself to others and trying to like seek solace and being like, I'm better than that guy, or just kind of punish yourself, be like, I'm a piece of shit compared to that, blah, blah. It's literally meaningless. Like, well, what are you doing? What are you trying to do? What do you want to do? Are you doing that? Yes or no? Well, no. Okay. We'll go do that. You know.
Hell yeah.
That's it. That's all you can do, brother. So what else is going on? What else you got going on in the week besides? What's kicking around?
Honestly, man, it's I'm in a unique opportunity where I'm kind of I've changed plans a little bit, not terribly. Still pursuing the art full time, but nice. I have an entire house to remodel and do. So I've got some money kicking around that I've saved. We've got some projects to do here, so just kind of getting the floors done. I've got one room already done. You know what I mean? Just kind of, I've been existing in fucking chaos for like 3 years at this house, and it's not conducive to getting shit done. So just
give me a taste. Just to give you a taste of my basement.
Oh yeah.
I'm telling myself this is insane, dude.
Well, that's it, man. Because I'll start to get into one thing, and I'm like, fuck, I know I'm gonna be into this for hours, and then I look to my right, and I'm like, I'm living in a fucking dump, dude. What kind of self-respecting man would exist in this chaos? And then I'm like, oh, now I'm a piece of shit because no, but it's just battling between those two things, man. It's fucking place needs a lot of work, and yeah. But I really I'm focused on the fucking. I can focus on this fucking house till I die, man. I'm just gonna focus on the podcast, figuring that out. I've already figured out how we're gonna get it filmed. You know what I mean? We're just gonna put it on IGTV initially because I can get that uploaded for free, and then I gotta fucking figure out all the back end shit this week. But
well, it's also interesting.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I should say it's interesting now. And when you're saying that, it just kind of made me think about this. How now it's almost like it used to be. Like nobody, let's say 4% of people, if even that, like, well, I don't know, what is it, 2021, in like the 70s, 80s, and even early 90s, for the idea for a dude to have a creative outlet, it was like maybe 0.5% of dudes had a creative outlet, at any rate, you know. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of crazy too how it's like, you know, it's almost something that, I'm not saying it's expected from people, but it's like very commonplace, and it's something that's I think kind of cool, to be honest, that there's so many more people just kind of just pursuing their ideas, like, you know, speaking, like communicating with another person for the intent of producing a thing. And it, you know, I just think it's fucking sick. So yeah, man, that's
and also to you know, especially with the art stuff, to kind of bridge that gap between, you know, artists and people that like to buy art, you know what I mean, or other artists that are interested in that stuff, and the familiar struggles. You know, the girl that I'm doing with is down in North Carolina, she does an entirely different kind of art. So just how much difference there is with that, how much the struggle's the same, you know what I mean, and just being able to kind of suss those ideas out on another platform, you know,
to
hopefully provide value on a couple levels, you know.
Yeah, man, that's what's up. Yeah, and again, I'm sorry for showing you guys my basement. That's a lot to take in, dude. That's a fucking heavy site. I stare. That's like what I'm looking at. That's my window view. I just look at like a elliptical, a punching bag, and just like a world of just shit. It doesn't really bother me. But I do think there is something too, like being in a clean space that's kind of just like set for one task. I think I probably would be better off if I could just eliminate that, but
nah, just put up a sheet or a curtain, you know what I mean?
I used to have that.
Just put your problems over there, you know.
But yeah, I'll have the office one day, but for now, just, you know, bunkered down. All right, let's grab some people up, dude. I just want to check in on people, see what's going on. I'm just gonna start grabbing people randomly. If you can't come up, no problem. You know, if you can, well, we'll see you in a second if you can. Let's see. I'm inviting Joseph. Oh, Joseph rejected. No problem, brother. No problem, my brother. But yeah, really, that's kind of something I've been thinking about a lot with this too. Is like just simplifying everything, and I really think it should be a place where you state what you're trying to do for the week. And, you know, we check in Friday. Did we do it or not? We communicate anything that pops up. Ray, what's up, brother?
Yeah, sorry about the condition of my house, man. It's a fucking, it's a dump.
Oh, God, this guy.
What's up, brother?
What's going on? So I'm heading off to Los Angeles this afternoon. Gonna go, I got to go close the deal on this very expensive painting.
Nice.
And then I'm going to go, I'm going to buy Wes's old Lexus and drive the painting and the Lexus back to Toronto.
Are you getting the old Lexus?
Yeah, man.
What you gonna do with that?
I'm gonna just like what would you guys do? I mean, other than park in the front yard and like let it rust to shit. No, it's gonna be my like so on my vision board, or actually not my vision board, on that like that mega list of goals written out from the perspective of next year, saying I'm so glad, you know, that thing that you did with that. On there was getting a vintage car, and so at this point in my life, I can't afford, you know, Steve McQueen's Bullet Mustang or anything. So this is my vintage car goal being realized. It's a 2003 Lexus. Which is
yeah, I call that my.
It seems like an elaborate slam on Wes.
It's and also and so it also fits into my scarcity mindset, right? So laugh, dude, laugh. But I'm telling you, man,
I agree. This is good.
It's a sleeper hit, this thing, and yeah, and MFG. I'm gonna tune in and see what you and this other artist talk about. My wife loves the stuff you're doing, by the way.
Oh, hell yeah.
The black and white kind of geometric stuff.
Yeah.
Personally, I want to see you take that to the next level, where
talking about some RGB, some colors.
Yeah, exactly. Where you add color and because like what you're doing right now, again, my wife loves it. She's got amazing taste. So there are people out there who love it. But for me, it looks extremely contained and controlled. She loves like OCD art. So that stuff looks very OCD, right? Like,
I wonder what.
And then, but I want to see what happens when like you push yourself out of that contained environment. Just so you know, there's people. But that doesn't mean people are going to like it more, right? I'm just curious as to what you can do. Like if your real authentic voice is out there just past your like safe, comfortable, safe zone. Right.
Damn,
So
that's
and I owed you like a private message on that, but since we're on the line together,
I was about to call you out on it, Ray. I was gonna bring it up in front of everybody, but I'm glad you brought it up first.
There you go.
No, I think that's
No, that's
really
awesome, man.
that's really good advice. You never hear people. I mean, I never hear people give people, especially people who do some sort of artistic endeavor. That's like really precise and I think awesome advice. Because like you're saying, Ray, it's like, people might not, but for you personally, to just what the fuck would happen if you did take a bunch of colors? Where's it go?
Right, because like I have a friend of mine, for example, who makes art. Nick Hornby is his name, same name as the author. And what he does is he makes these sculptures where he takes 3 separate sculptures from art history and puts them in a computer. So like this is one of them, right? Like just a pedestal with a bird in flight. And then this is another one where it's, let's see, this is another one where it's just see the pyramid and then the obelisk.
Whoa.
This.
Damn.
You cut out, your audio cut out. Yeah, your audio cut out, Ray. Can you hear him, MFG?
No, I can't hear him.
No, I'll be back. There you go.
All right. Did you get any of that?
Yes, the obelisk. I heard the obelisk.
Yeah. So then the bird in flight, and then the Rodin, going from the waist down. It's a Rodin sculpture, man walking. And so these sell really well in white, but when he added colors to them, like I'm not sure they sell really well in black and white. But the ones I love is when he add colors to them, and kind of took it to the next level, right? So that's what I want to see. That's what I'm curious about seeing in your work. And Matt, can you give us your input on like, do you have like a bag of tricks or a comfort zone when it comes to your writing or the content you create that you step out of?
Yeah.
Like when you talk about spirituality and stuff, is that stepping out of your comfort zone?
100%. That was, the solo thing for Patreon was just purely stepping out of the comfort zone. And it's always like, fuck, this is weird, but it's like, what I found, if I pursue it enough and don't talk myself out of it, something cool usually comes out of it. So, yeah, man. That was like the spiritual stuff. A lot of that talk hits just rings like alarm bells in terms of coming out of the comfort zone. But it's something I just find enjoyment in, and it's it's like that's the whole idea of like following kind of the thing outside. I sound so gay to call it the muse, but that's it. Like a thing outside of your comfort zone that's being like, no, do this. And you're like, oh, fuck that. I don't want to do that. And if you don't do it, you start to get tortured until you kind of like go off. But,
right. It takes courage.
Yeah. It's, there was a, who the fuck, I think it might've been Heinlein. Some author was saying that like, it's more of like, either asking about like, how do you write so many novels? And he was like, it's more of like an affliction. Like they're in my head. And if I don't get them out, I start to fucking fall apart. So he's like, I just have to do it. If I don't do it, my mind starts to deteriorate until I get this thing out of me. So I think it's a cool way to look at it.
I can relate to that 100%. I mean, when I haven't made anything in a while, when I have an idea in my head, I will literally get like physically antsy until I can sit down and at least get it on paper and get it started. Once it's in my brain, it just wants to bore its way out.
Dude, and I think it again, this is art heavy combo. Like, Wes left for one thing. We're like, fuck money, dude. Like, just make cool shit.
Die anonymously.
But yeah, but I always think about how this translates to everyday life, and it's like, dude, it does. Like, again, that's the same feeling when you're at a job and you're like, man, this sucks. I'm, inherently dissatisfied, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, then, move out of your comfort zone. You're in your comfort zone. You've outgrown your, the zone of comfort. So it's like, step outside, see what's out there. That's the thing I implore everyone to do always. It's like, you don't have to like live some like, creative life. And it is funny. I love demystifying and de-glamorizing. Like, oh man, it must be so cool to do creative stuff. It's like I was an electrician for a while. It's slightly better than that. It's slightly, tiny bit better. Not by much, a little bit.
That's what I put in the comments. It's like, and it's also like, like selling art for a living sounds glamorous, or if I own an art gallery, sounds glamorous. But the reality is, it's like every job is just like emails and phone calls and meetings.
Yes. Yeah.
And then just a sliver of it, like you said, just a sliver of it is spiritual fulfilling. That makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right.
And it's like, and you can do those things with a lot of other stuff as well, but it's like, in terms of like, you just like be good for your family and all that other stuff, which you should do anyway. But yeah, I agree, man. It's like, yeah, when you can de-glamorize stuff, it just, I don't know, I like it just because it takes away so much of the pressure, and like, you'll catch yourself like wanting to glamorize something else, and you just go, this is just that thing I do. And you're like, I don't need to do this, let me get back to the basics and the fundamentals of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. I do it to myself all the time.
I'll tell you what I've caught myself in the loop of doing that, and I sort of cut you off, but I wanted to bring this up, is one thing that this terrible program I had was that I felt like I had to work really, really hard for the work to be valid, or I had to be suffering in some capacity to show that I was actually committed to whatever it was I was doing. Like I had maligned like suffering with success in my head. So I felt like at the end of the day, if I hadn't killed myself in whatever I was pursuing, then it wasn't enough, and then I couldn't really rest easy, and I was all fucked up the next day, and kind of unwinding that connection between having to suffer in order to actually get the work done, and just quantifying it down and just being, all back to setting goals for the week. You know what I mean? When I set my goals for the week and what I'm going to do, all right, well, regardless of how I'm feeling, if I didn't have to kill myself physically or, stress out about it, I existed so much from that place that I thought that that's what it felt like when things are going good. If that makes any sense at all.
That makes perfect sense. Bill Burr has a thing about, there's a clip of it if you look for it on his podcast. He talks about how he confused this idea that like in order for his stand-up to be good, he had to be like mentally tortured. And he was like, it was something I just let go of as I got older. I was like, oh, I was just doing that to myself because that was like what I thought I had to do. Yeah, no, absolutely. You almost feel guilty. If you're like doing something you like and it's good, you're like, no, something bad's going to happen. I can't have this. And it's like,
in the glamorization too of like, well, I wouldn't be able to create anything that was worthwhile unless I poured out everything I had and my hands were bloodied and you know what I mean? Because you put it up on a pedestal as opposed to just bringing it down to the work.
Yeah, man. There's there was something you were saying that I used to do the same thing to myself. I would like work myself to tatters. I would like work during the day and be out at night doing stuff. And I was like, this is just what I need to do. And yeah, I was just, it's like after a while, you're like, no, I don't have to do that at all. Like I can just work. I can actually be conscious of what I'm after and just do a little bit towards that every day than trying to be like, I'm going to work 40 hours, I'm going to do 40-hour job and then like 30 hours a week of something else and do that and this and that and all. And it's like, okay. I mean, I did it. I burned myself out and, nothing really went well. That's like genuinely what happened. Whereas now it's like I kind of work less, but I'm a little more focused on exactly what I'm doing. And I enjoy like the other stuff, like, 5 o'clock, everything's done, family time, that's what we're doing. But yeah, before I'd been upstairs tortured, like I'm not getting anything done because I bullshit around all day. I didn't get anything done. It's like, yeah, man, it's when you kind of direct your focus. And again, just every time I get myself spun out, I go, all right, what are we doing here? And I go, for me personally, it's like, we're trying to just make content that's like entertaining as well as has some sort of like kind of deeper intrinsic value to kind of help people through life. That's it. And as soon as I go, am I doing that? Yes, I'm trying. At least I'm trying. Okay, good. Everything else is just extraneous where it's like, yeah, I can freak out about it if I want to, but it's just like it's a weird indulgence.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, and Wes talks about that in terms of like to step away from the model of am I putting in the hours on this job and step towards the model of am I creating value?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because like the amount of time it takes is different than the amount of value you give.
Dude, 100%. That's an easy way. That one was a big one for me. When he hit me with that value creation stuff, again, it sounds like, if you think about it on a service level, you're like, oh, whatever. Yeah, I guess, I create value, I get a paycheck, right? And it's like, no, this is different. This is like, are people like genuinely glad you can even do that at a job. Are people genuinely glad that you are there doing the thing you do and why, Or are you just sitting there smoking cigarettes by a dumpster being like, fuck, we got to go back in. Fuck, this fucking guy's an asshole. And it's like, you can do that if you want. But it's like, you can also just try to like put yourself in an environment where like you specifically are valued because of the efforts you make towards whatever overarching goal that enterprise you're part of is trying to do. It's like most people don't do it. They just go, I guess I got to show up at a place. This is the only thing I can do. Is I cannot hope for anything else. And it's like, I guess, that's not true. So.
Word, and then working on yourself, like something Wes gets from Jim Rohn is like, those who succeed, like, and I don't know, it's like spend as much time working on themselves as they do working at their job, and ideally, like, if you can be working on yourself and your job at the same time. And that's like when Wes talks about like practicing your craft, that's distinguishable from just doing your job.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I agree, man.
So those micro habits that create self-improvement, those can be way more valuable than putting in the time at the job in the hopes of getting a promotion. I mean, MFG, as you know.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure. Well, it's also, dude, if you go into any job and at any level, I think I'm convinced at this. And if they don't value this, then you're probably at the wrong place. But if you go to a job at any level and say, you meet with your boss, or you even approach your boss and say, hey, it's Monday. Here's exactly what I want to get done this week. Here's how I'm going to do it. And you're like explaining, I'm going to time block from this time to this time, make sure this and that. Is there anything else you need to know? Okay, cool. And then we'll check back to make sure like I get all this stuff done. Dude, they would be like, where the fuck did this guy come from? Because most people show up and are just like, oh, okay. Just like, I guess. Or it's like, here's what I'm trying. And if they're, and you can just be like, you do the job. And if they're giving you tasks you don't like to do, just be like, hey man, I fucking hate this. I'm going to work somewhere else. Just go somewhere else.
Yeah, I did that, with a client for this painting, $150,000 painting. I sent them an email. I'm like, here's what we're going to do. Don't send the money to the client. Send it to me. I'll give the client, I'll give the artist 10%. Then I'll go down and inspect it, make sure it's perfect. Then I'll send the rest of the money, and then I'll bring it back to you. And we talked about this, right? And I said, like, I'm not going to charge the client because it's my first time.
Yes.
So I got a text at like 10 p.m. saying, hey, my husband isn't really sure why we're wiring you the money instead of sending it directly to the artist or gallery. So before we take any steps further, can you give him a call tomorrow? And I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I couldn't sleep at all, dude. It was like, oh, man. It was like, no.
So what happened?
He just needed education on, like, why are art transactions structured this way? He's a finance guy. He does, I don't even know what he does. But
sure.
All he needed was just like he's really rich guy, but like in his 40s, spent all his time getting rich, and now that he's got the nice house and the nice car, he wants the art. And so he just needed a little bit of education on why I'm doing it this way, in order to safeguard his money, in order to build up a relationship with the artist, so that I can get like first dibs on any future art. And but this is all to say that like what I did was I did what you're talking about. I created a plan. I'm like, here's what we're gonna do. Like, you send me the money, I go down. I secure it. I build a relationship. I come back and like we're 10 steps ahead next time. And it was.
What was his reaction?
They were very impressed. Well, the text message was, "Give me a call to explain." To which I panicked. The reaction on the phone was amazing. He was like, "Oh, I'm so excited! Like, I'm so glad we're doing it this way. I totally trust you. Like, I'm sorry that you were insulted by that text message. That wasn't my intention at all."
Sure.
It was, so it was, it went exactly like you said it would.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. It's funny. The call me text is the most alpha move. Call me. It's like, dude, we're on cell phones, dude. Call me. I got to read this and be like, oh, okay, let me dial your number.
Oh, it took me like 24 hours to punch those digits, man.
That's awesome, though, man. And it really is. It just,
But putting up that plan, like proposing that plan of attack, there are times it might not work, sure. But in my case, it worked just like you said it would.
Nice, man. That's awesome. Yeah, again, like, people just like to know what the fuck, because he could just have some weird insecurities. Like, am I getting ripped off? Am I an idiot? Am I going to get, like, no, man, like, here's the plan. Here's why we're doing this, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, man, I think that's what's up. So, dudes, let's, dude, it's 11:43. I mean, we can grab someone else on, or we can just kind of, set what we want to do this week, get at it. And
Who did you have on last week? Was it Dawn or Sad?
It was SAAD.
And remind, do we want an update on his progress?
Yeah, let's pop. Actually, you know what? Let's do that. Let's pop up on. Let's see if there's. He might be at work though, but let's say SAAD. If you are at work, don't worry about. Oh, there he is. What's up, bro? Definitely not at work. What's up, bro? How you doing?
I literally just it's pretty slow today, so I just hopped home for this.
Nice. Hell yeah. Well, dude, what's going on? Brief update to take us out.
Yeah. So just sticking with the fundamentals. Just staying with what I've been doing. Just the same thing: swimming, walking. I'm gonna try to go to the gym, jiu-jitsu, and then something I want to focus on is activities where I can meet people, because
Sure.
new city, and it gets pretty lonely, So
What's the city?
Ottawa in Canada.
Oh, right on. Right
Yeah.
on. I'm in Toronto.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man.
Right on, dude.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm from the area, but I just moved here for work and to get away from my family.
Yeah, man.
So
I get it.
I'm just gonna be here for a couple of years just to get some experience and then head back. But I want to kind of build the roots here, show who I want to be.
Sure.
Okay,
But Wes was saying you won't know. Wes said, you don't know whether it's been a success or not unless you've tried it 100 times. And he also said in terms of career, minimum 5 years in something until you know if it's the right move for you.
Yeah, and that was a plan before I even, because generally I work on real estate appraisal, and that's I want to work in the city, and city jobs require 5 years experience minimum.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all right, might as well just have a shitty 5 years and then a bunch of good years after, hopefully.
Yeah, man.
I hope.
Well, yeah. Or like you're saying, if it's it doesn't have to be shitty if you're doing all that other personal improvement, self-discovery stuff in the meantime. So you said you're 22 years old?
It turned 23 last week.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm going to put it to you this way. You have no fucking idea what's going on in your life. That's the only way I can describe it. So it's if you're just sticking, again, maybe you're wrong. Maybe I was just a complete idiot at that age. But, oh, shit. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, I've hit my
We prefer
camera.
to see you and not hear you, but we can hear you and not see you.
But yeah, if I was talking to myself at 23 years old, it's just really hang in there, stick to the fundamentals, and you'll be surprised that your current worldview will most likely expand into something larger and richer than it currently is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Stick to the fundamentals. Those are things, the things you're doing that you just listed are things that I'm practicing in my 40s to take my career to the next level. And as long as you do you have a goal? Do you have a goals? Do you have a vision board and a list of goals?
I do. It's just I just want to work for the city, and then just start doing renovations with my family. I want to work with.
Have you wrote them down?
I don't think
That
so.
sounds like a no.
That's a yes or no. Yes or no. Dude, definitely sit down and write them out.
Okay.
Just because when you write them out, you start to hit the thing of what are the specific tasks required to see them through, and then you start writing down all the tasks, and then now your days are filled with stuff to do.
Yes, and so I'll send you an example of my vision board that Matt and Wes helped me develop, right? In order to have all these properties, I need to sell after these people do these things and follow Wes's lead. Matt, I'm sorry you didn't make the cut. But
Fair enough.
and then what I was talking to Matt about earlier was the Matt has a way of creating goals, and you can see here, it's the goal is written in the language of a year from now because it's already accomplished. So the goal is to pay off student loans down to zero. And the sentence is, I finally paid down my student loans that have been haunting me for 20 years. Salary, 150 grand earned. I more than doubled my annual salary this year, earning the most I've made in my adult life. And so I'll send you this list as well, just so you can think about the categories. So you can follow the categories and financial, career, family, education, recreational, personal health, spiritual, fitness. And because writing them down and in list form, and having a vision board forces you to, like, part of your fundamentals should be taking through your micro habits, taking steps toward those goals. And so, like when you meet that real estate appraisal, when you have that job interview at a real estate firm or real estate appraisal office, and they ask you what are your goals, you don't stroke your beard that I'm jealous of. Both you guys, man, like, my God. They don't when they ask you what your goals are, you don't have any issue. Like thinking of it. It's on the tip of your tongue. And trust me, I was exactly where you were a year ago before I met Matt and Wes. Like, I didn't have any goals. I literally didn't have any goals. Did not have a vision board. And now, like, when I wake up, I don't have to think about what my goals are, because part of my daily habits is like checking my vision board every single day.
Yeah, and I'll get on that then. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
So I'll message you my vision board and my goal list just so you can see the format.
Cool.
Yeah, it becomes like second nature after a while. Like, again, just the fact that I've gotten myself, and same thing to Ray, it's like, dude, like a year ago, I was completely, I was like doing stuff and it was like technically going decently, but I was so like just discombobulated and unfocused. And now, again, the fact that it took me, maybe like 6 months of like serious effort to be able to get my day to the point where I come downstairs and like write out exactly what I want to do. That it took 6 months to be able to do that every single day. Now it's a thing, like, if I don't do it, I get kind of antsy. I'm like, I got to get down and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, man, it's something that can be done. It makes a big difference.
Okay, I find for me it reduces decision fatigue. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I don't have to make decisions all day. I've got my plan. I've sorted that out first thing, and now we're just gonna go and just check shit off the list all day long. And then once the list is done, we can look at the end of the day. But it definitely, that, and at 23 years old, man, I think Tony Robbins, the quote that we overestimate what we can accomplish within a year, and we underestimate what we can accomplish within a decade. Because 10 years is going to go by whether or not you're paying attention, and quick. Yeah. But if you're putting down this kind of framework, what does that look like 120 months from now? How tight is your program with yourself to be able to branch out into whatever field you want to go into?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Amen to that. Absolutely.
That's a valuable advice, guys. Thank you.
No problem, dude. Like I said, I'm pumped, man. It's sick to have someone your age, and I believe I think it was Donovan. Someone said or Joseph, one of them said they're a similar age. It's like, yeah, man, just, be patient with yourself, and then just start this process of like consciously mapping out your days and actually doing as much of that as you can. You'll see sometimes you'll overestimate the amount you can do in one day. You'll find a sweet spot where you're not like beating yourself up or anything. You're like, here's like 3 or 4 things you got to do. I'm getting them done. If I don't, here's why. Boom, it's on the list for tomorrow, and things just don't sizzle out into nothing. So
yeah.
Hell yeah.
I've been like trying to take things like day by day, because it's like something they tell you when you're like, depressed, like take things day by day. But like through this, I found like week by week works a lot better for me. Like, plan out my week. All right, sick. I accomplished all of this week, and then I could chill on the weekend, plan out my next week, and then it just like it keeps going, and it's like it's a lot easier to get through things.
Yeah, man. And the days are just you plan out the week, and then each day becomes like a little mini week. Like, all right, in order to get this done for the week, Monday has to be about this, Tuesday has to be about this, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, etc. So yeah, man. And then when you get all this stuff done, you can just chill. You're like, it's different chilling after you get all the stuff done you said you're going to do. It feels good. You're relaxing. You're enjoying it, versus like chilling when you're not doing anything, and it starts to feel horrible.
Yeah, right. That chilling is more like avoidance.
Yes. Does not feel good.
Well, and what Wes said a couple weeks ago, but he talked about setting yourself up so if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you just have to fucking sit there and be bored. You know what I mean? Yeah. Don't go do other shit. Which sometimes I'll just, when I don't want to do something, I'll sit there and look at my fucking shoes for 30 minutes because I don't want to go to the gym. But I'm not gonna entertain myself or play into it. I'll just go, all right, and eventually I go, fuck it, we gotta go, let's go, and hit the door.
That's how I feel about. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I just wrote something down for myself. It's just be accountable for your actions and your attitude. because I always thought that accountability was just like, if I do something, I need to be accountable, but it's like how I treat people and how I go about my days. So I just wanted to share that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
man. Like when nobody's looking, like accountability
Yeah.
is still important, or probably more important when nobody's looking.
Mhm.
Like, and when you get to my age, like where, like, you know, you've been fired from every job you've ever had, and your wife has like given up the dream of like that you're gonna buy her a yacht. Like, really, I'm only accountable to myself now. You know, I run my own business. I'm really only accountable to myself, and that's different because like when I was your age, I was doing more. I thought like accountability was like, am I doing enough to keep my job? Am I doing enough to like pass my classes? And that there should be a lot more accountability before you get to that stage, right? I was that guy like by the dumpster, just like watching the seconds and minutes crawl by until my restaurant job, you know, shift ended, or like, so that accountability, like it's really to yourself.
Yeah.
That's the most important person you have to be accountable for, because like the fact that you're 23 and already thinking about your micro habits and your fundamentals, like MFG said, like the sky is the limit, right? Where I was just treading water, like at 23, I was just treading water. Now at 23, I did meet my wife, so that was like a great.
That's my goal, bro. I'm trying to find just something to lock me down.
Yeah, but by some miracle,
it's always going to be a miracle.
She stuck with me because like it's taken like it's taken 20 years to get like a strong program and fundamentals and micro habits and accountability to myself. She doesn't make me do my scorecard. She doesn't make me chug water. She doesn't make me do journaling and like the vision board. I'm accountable to myself for all this stuff. And micro habits, you're accountable to yourself because nobody's watching.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, I find myself doing like like I'm gonna clean. You know, maybe when I find a girl, I'll learn to cook. But it's like, nah, I gotta learn to cook like on my own.
Yeah.
Or if you said clean, like look at Matt's place. Like clearly, like cleaning does not have to come first. You know?
It's controlled chaos, dude. Yeah, man. I mean, dude, the whole thing of, again, we're talking about like the genuine, like you read a, what is it called, job description of like must do this, must blah blah. There's that stuff, and then there's the invisible job description, which is like how do you handle yourself, how do you get along with everybody, how do you take criticism, and again, going into it, like I just want to do a job interview so bad, so I think I would nail one right now. I think I finally learned how to do a job interview. If you just come in and just say like, hey, you know, the job description is all cool, but here's where I really excel. And it's like, I'm not going to bitch. I'm not going to complain. I'm here to like bring a positive energy to this whole place, and, you know, try to really do my best to do that. And just talk about like the immaterial aspects of a job description, like in terms of like the things no one tells you about or talks about, and the things you can't mandate, or they try to. They're like fast paced, goal oriented, blah blah blah, and it's just, you know, it's just people smoking cigs, fucking bitching, dude. That's all.
Yeah.
I know. In terms of job interviews, it's like I remember the most recent job interview I had a couple of years ago. Like my wife was like, "You got to wear a tie and stuff," and I said, I can't, because like this, from now on, I'm just gonna apply. I'm just gonna show them who I am, and that's gonna have to be good enough, because like I'm not gonna like tell them I'm like, you know, like I'm proficient in Excel and PowerPoint, all this kind of crap like that, because it's like you said, the invisible job interview. Like, is he competent? Does he play well with others?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Is he trustworthy? Will he execute? You know, will he bring value?
Yep.
Really? Because like 5 years experience doesn't tell you anything, right? Like, and in fact, like if you network correctly, like you can get that job with 4 years or 3 years experience if you're the right person.
For sure.
Like, if you network correctly and you have the fundamentals where you can communicate, and especially Matt, like you said, where you can communicate those in a job interview.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas like for until, and I don't even know if I got that job where I, like, to be honest, I don't even know if I got that job where I didn't wear the tie, but it was like, this is me, this is who I am, I'm good enough.
Yep.
You know, this is how I like to dress, I'm good enough.
Yeah, and if you're Go ahead, Ray. Sorry.
No, I was just trying to think no, go ahead, Matt. I'll come back to me. Yeah.
So and just to pick up your thought, if I'm good enough, and if you're applying the fundamentals daily or weekly or whatever over a consistent period of time, that won't be some like fake it till you make it thing. It'll be a reality.
It won't be a mystery either.
Yeah,
it won't be a mystery.
Exactly.
And again, if you have Sad, can I call you something else, by the way? Because
My name's Saad. I find it funny that Matt says SAAD. I just don't want to correct him because it's hilarious.
So and again, if you have the micro habits, if you have the vision board, if you have the goals, and you get to that job interview, just like Matt said, it's not going to be a fake it till you make it kind of come up with a lie. Man, I lived so long. What lie did I tell yesterday? What lie do I have to tell today? Yeah. And what lie do I have to tell in order to get away with some shit tomorrow? If you can live from your values, like Matt says, accept who you are, work on your micro habits, work on your fundamentals, have your vision board, have your list of goals. When you're in that job interview, you're unstoppable.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. And that 5-year thing, that might be a ruler saying. I would challenge you 3 years from now, 2 years from now, just to apply for the job anyway. You need 5 years.
It's not concrete,
dude, I've seen people bullshit the place I've been at that've been there for 30 years. So, what the fuck?
Yeah. I feel like the place I'm at is super, valuable. The guy I work for, he's been in the industry for a long time. And, I can come home, in the middle of my shift.
Sick.
So, it's just, it's super chill for where I'm at right now. But I feel like when the time is right, I'll move on.
Hell yeah, man.
My heart is back home, so.
Yeah, dude, you got plenty of time. You have plenty of time, bro. Like I said, as long as you just, even if you stick to 10% of this, you'll be in an infinitely better, space a while from now.
Oh, yeah.
So, fuck yeah, guys. Well, dudes, thank you guys so much. It's actually just noon right now. So let's get after it. I have to go over my material. I fucking hate, this is the thing I'm going to challenge myself to do. Someone said something about this. I forget who. MFG, you're talking about, looking at your shoes to go to the gym. I fucking hate going over my stand-up material. I despise it. And I have to do that. That's all I'm doing the next 2 days. So I'm going to do that.
Good luck, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll crush it, Matt. Your family isn't coming because it's your first time doing stand-up.
No.
Your family's coming because you're good.
Yeah. It'll be, it will, I know it will be fine. I do this. This is a process I go through every single time. Yeah, I know it'll be fine. I'm going to go through my material. It's just the waiting to do it. It's ugh.
Your mind doesn't let you know it's going to be fine, but it will.
No, it does not. It does not.
And can you check in with me on Friday? I might be in the desert in Wes's broken down old car, holding a painting.
Mad Max Lexus.
Yeah, with skeleton
hanging out the sunroof.
Right, or I rigged it so it runs on pig manure or something.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to check in Friday. See how that.
I'll bring some sunblock.
Please. Later, guys.
All right.
Later.
Good
Later on.
Have a great day, dogs.